yes, this is a very brief basic introduction to EndNote and its core features. So we won't be going over the installation of the software itself. If you do need assistance afterwards, you're welcome to reach out to us if you experience any issues with the installation and setting it up. Um, the most useful guide I can refer you to is our EndNote library guide. So I'm going to paste that link in the chat as well. I did share it, I think, with the message this morning. But we've got a very comprehensive guide outlining the different features, the different the settings and things to take consideration of. So yeah, please have a look, consult this library guide for any further questions that you might have. And I will be giving an overview of the platform itself. So I've got about 25 minutes to do that. And then I will hand over to my colleague Bronwyn, who will be covering how EndNote functions within Word as a citation tool. Okay, so I've already got an EndNote open. Most of you, when you open EndNote the first time, you will be prompted to create a new library. And a very, very important part of that is that that library and its associated .data folder must be saved on your computer as hard drive and not in the cloud. So you can use your My Documents folder in your C drive and store it there. And that should be a safe approach. Unfortunately, there is a risk of data corruption if you save it in the cloud because it constantly tries to synchronize with the file. Okay, so just to give you an overview of the layout, to the left, and if the screen is a bit too small and you're having trouble seeing what I'm showing, here at the bottom where my name appears on this shared screen, there should be two little a plus and a minus icon that you can use to zoom in on the screen. At the top, you will have your account. So let's start with that. Let's start with setting up your account for EndNote and getting it ready. So you'll on Windows, you'll click on Edit and then go to Preferences. On Mac, you have to click on the drop-down menu on EndNote itself and then on Settings. And you'll click on Preferences, and then you'll click here on Enable Sync under the Sync tab here to the left. And then you'll click on Sign Up. Here, you can use any email address. We actually recommend using a personal email address because if you were to, for some other reason, leave the institution, it might make things difficult for recovering a password and so on. So we often recommend rather using a personal Gmail account or so. You'll fill it in, just going through the steps. And you'll be prompted to put in a password. This one is already now recognizing this because I've already created an account, but you'll be prompted to create a password. And once you've done that and everything, you'll click on Submit, and here you'll then click on Apply. This allows EndNote to back up your library that's stored on your computer with their specific cloud instance. And that allows you then, here you'll see it can synchronize. You'll have all kinds of details, basically, of when it was last synchronized, how many references you've got in your library, how many group sets you have. Groups I'll be touching on just now as well. And yes, so then under all references is your entire library. So you'll have everything here, basically, that you have contained in your library. And you can have up to 1 million references in your library. If you click on any of these records, the bibliographic details will appear here to the right. If you click on this little bar here at the bottom, you can click upwards and you'll see what the reference would look like if it was to put in Word. So here you can select, let's go to APA, for instance, and then it changes the format automatically. I see there's a question regarding the recordings. Yes, we will share all the recordings that we have the necessary permissions for afterwards. But as you can see, there's multiple different styles available. The SU Harvard style is also available. Instructions on how to get that is on the library guide. So if you go back to the library guide, you click here on installing and setting up EndNote, and you go down to installing the SU Harvard style. Then you can just follow these steps to set it up on EndNote. One of the key benefits of EndNote is the customizability of the styles. So we've created some custom styles for certain faculties, certain departments, certain journals that doesn't have a resident EndNote style that we were able to do for some of our researchers and students. Then obviously, there's nothing under recently added now. Unfiled basically means all the references that hasn't been placed into a group or hasn't been categorized or organized in some way or another. So groups is just another name for folders. This is where you can create different folders. You can create it, let's say you want to organize it according to your dissertation. You can have a chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and then organize it like that. You can organize it by specific subject or keyword, for instance. And there, the tags here at the bottom become even more relevant. Once you've identified your specific keywords that's relevant for your study, then you can assign keywords to the different articles and so on. So, for instance, if we were to quickly do a demonstration of that, so I'm just going to use financial resilience. I'm just going to copy and paste for brevity. But if you click here on edit, next to the summary button, you'll see the first option is manage tags. You'll click on that, and then you'll say create tag. I'm just going to paste there, and I'm going to make it blue and say create. And now I can, this one has now been added to financial resilience as well. And if you click on that, it will only show the specific articles that speak to that subject or that theme. The find full text feature is another way if you've got a lot of references that doesn't have the associated article or PDF attached to it. It's one way then that you can prompt EndNote to search for the full text and automatically attach it. It's not 100% successful. It depends on the availability of that specific article on the different databases. And you also do need to set this up. And this also is available on the library guide. Here under enabling find full text, you'll get the step-by-step instructions on how to set it up. And here, as to mention, it's not compatible with quite a couple of different databases. So it's not 100% successful that you will get the full text if you use that function. Online search is another feature that allows you to search within EndNote. There's a couple that do work. You can enable the SU library search, for instance, so you can search our library catalog within EndNote. This also needs to be set up, and the instructions are also on the library guide. But if you need assistance or you're unsure, you can reach out to us for assistance. Web of Science, Core Collection, and PubMed are the others that work quite well. These others I've been testing, but they are not quite successful, unfortunately. And I will also say this helps if you want to search for a specific author or a specific title, for instance. Then it's quite efficient. But if you want to do a comprehensive literature search, it's always advisable to rather go back to the automatic databases. I see the question about storage space. So the library won't take up that much space. It's a very small file. The folder, depending on how many PDFs you have stored in it, will also can become bigger if it's a very large library. If there's but unfortunately, we really do recommend not storing it on the cloud. Any cloud service, so OneDrive, Dropbox, Google Drive, all of these can lead to the file to become corrupt, unfortunately. Okay, so this is the left side, basically the overview of the features available here. The group sets, yeah, just to basically show, if you right click here, you can create a single group or you can create a group set under which you can then create certain subfolders, for instance, as well. Okay, so now let's quickly do a demonstration of how to import references into EndNote. So I am going to go to Science Direct because it's got quite a nice feature that you can download multiple PDFs in one go. So the library homepage, I'm going to share that link as well in the chat. And now I need to remember how. The last time I demonstrated EndNotes was with our old website. Now I need to remember where to find. It will be under Find. If you click on Find, there should be our e-journals databases. I'm looking for the databases list, the A to Z list. And then on S for Science Direct. And I'm just going to use the topic I used this morning. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of results, and I'm not going to select all of them. I'm just going to select the first 5 or 6. And now I'm going to click on download 6 articles. And you'll note this, it's saying 5 of the 6 articles are being downloaded. That means that one of the resources I clicked on might have been a book or a book chapter, or it might just be an article we don't have immediate access to. So there could be some reasons behind that. Okay, so once you've downloaded this folder, you need to open it. Actually, not even open it. You can just say extract all because it's an archived folder. It's a zipped folder. And while I'm doing this, yes, that's the moment you set up EndNote Sync, it will automatically back up your PDFs and your library to EndNote's cloud drive. Okay, so here we have them. Now I want to check something because I think this should work. I'm just going to minimize there. But if I'm correct, you can just select all the PDFs and you can take them here to all references. And yeah, there it's starting the process. I can't move this screen back in now, but because it's now busy. And that's also why I just selected 6 references, because if you import 25 PDFs at a time, that can become quite a lengthy process. Okay, so now to enlarge it again. So we've got recently added and this imported references. I'm not quite sure why this one just appears now separate to the others. Maybe because it was the first one appearing or the last one or something. But under recently added, here you'll see now those PDFs automatically populated the record, and it created the necessary metadata along with it. But it is very important to remember that EndNote is not 100% perfect. No reference manager is 100% perfect when it comes to importing the data. So this one, for instance, as you can see, the title is written in title case, meaning each word starts with a capital letter. And generally in our referencing styles, the title of an article or a book or a website must be written in sentence case. So you'll still have to go and check for the accuracy. Make sure, replace basically all the uppercase letters with lowercase. In a case like this, where it's DevOps like that, which is kind of an abbreviation, that can stay, as with generative AI, which is a concept. And so the titles of a journal and a conference's title can be written in title and stay in title case. So that is actually correct. And that's one of the other benefits of importing from databases like Science Direct and the other academic databases is those PDFs and their metadata are usually quite complete and comprehensive. Okay. The other option, because sometimes you can't download multiple PDFs, so, and my time is already running short, so let me jump to another one quickly. Let's just do Sage Open. And okay, so I'm just going to select one for now. Here you'll see at the bottom, there's this a little locker EndNote feature. You can enable it in EndNote. Under Tools, I think is where you would, yes, install and click Browser Extension. That will add it to your browser. It doesn't work 100%. I don't think I have it installed on Chrome, but let's see. There we go. Okay, so it has actually picked up a record here. Okay, but yeah, I'm just going to continue with the manual. If any of these features don't work on the day, the other option is to download the bibliographic record. Now I need to find the place where we can download it. And I'm not actually seeing that option. Okay, let's jump. I'm going to go back to Science Direct because I'm familiar with it and just redo the process. Yeah, so here, if you click on the title, you'll see there should always be kind of like a cite option, a cite or an export or some kind of feature on all of these databases. And then you'll have a selection of options. Sometimes you'll even have an option, EndNote, export to EndNote. And oddly enough, we would recommend not using that feature because what it does is it first sends it to the cloud, and then you need to synchronize your desktop with that. Our advice for the quickest, most efficient way is to always export the RIS, Research Information System file. So I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to click on it, and it will automatically import to EndNote. And here you'll have, again, a full comprehensive record, the abstract, everything is included. The only thing that's not included is the PDF in a case like this. So then what you will have to do is you'll have to manually download the PDF. You'll click here on attach file and then browse to the downloads. I'm just going to select one of these as an example for now and attach it, and there it will be. Okay, so the features in a PDF. So let's go just to another one. I'm going to use this one. Is if I click here on PDF, the first thing that will pop up is this little EndNotes, what they call a research assistant. It generates a key takeaway. So it just summarizes the article, but it does a very concise summary. It's not in depth. So if you do want to engage with it further, it would require some other AI tool. And there you always have to make sure about the intellectual property rights of the article, whether you can or may upload it or not. It does have a couple of some basic annotation features. So here next to the search bar, if you click on this little icon, markup annotation, it allows you to add text bubbles, highlight specific segments, strike through or underline. It's very basic, but the benefit is these annotations, if you add them, and you then export. Let's see, I think I know. Let's just see that option. Yeah, if you export it to Adobe Acrobat, you'll the annotations will export along with. So this is a nice feature for those people that doesn't have access to Acrobat Pro that allows this type of annotation. It's one way to then at least generate a PDF document with your own annotations along with it. Okay. And let me check my time again and just see what else would be important. Sometimes it happens that you upload a PDF and it doesn't generate a record. This is because it might be a chapter that you scanned, or it's an article, it was a hard copy article that was scanned, or it's just from a less reputable source like ResearchGate or one of those social academic networking sites, where oftentimes the PDFs, it's just a scanned copy, there's no metadata associated. And then it's unfortunately, you'll have to manually add all the information in a case like that. So if you will click on the PDF here, and fortunately, it is a fairly straightforward way. If you click on this little open the reference in a new window button, it's now just jumped to my other window. You'll see there's this feature here, Edit and PDF. And if you click on, you can close the Research Assistant. And based on this, you can then now add the information as you are reading or copying it from this side. This is now, obviously, I think the reason this didn't generate a citation is because it's more a reference document than an actual academic source. But let's take that one, for example. If you add the author, this is how you would add them. And as you can see, EndNote automatically suggests. So the more you populate your library, it will keep a record of the authors that's been added. In this case, it is a J, but it's not Jeffrey. I'm just going to make a JW. When it turns red like that, it means EndNote doesn't recognize it as a previously entered entry. If it's multiple authors, you need to add the next author below. So let's just say sales J. And always remember to add the comma there. If it's an organization, so let's say World Trade Organization, always remember to add the comma. Otherwise, EndNote will automatically abbreviate it and treat it as an ordinary name. So any kind of place name, country name, organization name, remember to add a comma at the end of it. Then you'll add the year, you'll add the different information. If it's a book, you can go here and select under the reference type what kind of reference you're working with. So web pages are often must be manually entered because there isn't enough, or you cannot necessarily pull that information from the web. So here you'll then fill in all the necessary fields. And as you can see, there's a lot of fields here, and they're not all required to make a comprehensive reference. So a last resource that I do want to show you is again on the library homepage. Now, yeah, if you scroll down under the BusyBub chat, if you click on referencing, and then we specifically have this for our Harvard A to Z list, but it is useful for other referencing styles as well, because it breaks down essentially what's required for a specific reference. Here we've got the book, so it's an author, author of the book, the year of publication, the title of the book, the edition, the volume, place of publication, and the publisher. The layout of a chapter in a book, an article, a website, all this information is available here. And we also have the full APA 7th edition online resource available as well. So the official APA style manual, you will have to log in, I think, if I understand the access correctly, through our federated access. But here you can then search for a specific reference type, blog. And there you'll get blog post. You go to the manual. I'm just going to turn this off. And here it will then give an example of how a blog should be referenced and cited in text. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop there. I'll have a look at the questions, and we can allow some time at the end if there are any questions. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Bronwyn to continue with EndNote within Word.
Thanks, Kirchner. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Lovely, great. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, I'm going to take you through using Word with EndNote. I did have a slide just to, sorry, beg your pardon, I will share my screen. Just one moment. Are you able to see my screen? I just wanted to show you this overview slide of what I'm going to try and cover with you in a few moments.
Yes, we can see you, Bronwyn.
Great, thank you, Hanley. All right, so what I thought we would cover was opening a blank Word document, and we generate some text. We will insert an in-text citation and start generating our bibliography or reference list. We will then modify an in-text citation. Then we'll move on and adjust the spacing in the bibliography. We'll also look at the font and the font size and see where we can change that. And then we'll also select a reference style if we need to change our reference style. Okay. And most importantly, just to remember what we're doing today, it's always good to practice, and the more we do in our EndNote library and our work with Word, the more we do and the more we practice, the more we learn. So just to keep that in mind. All right, so I'm going to move to, I have my EndNote library open here, and I'm opened a blank Word document. And we'll start by just generating a little bit of random text. So I'm just going to type equals RAND, and in a bracket, I'm putting 2 so that it generates 2 paragraphs of random text. You can also generate your text in any way you want to, just hitting the keyboard for the moment, if you want to do it like that. All right, so we have 2 paragraphs here. And I'm going to, first of all, insert an in-text citation. So important point, we need to place our cursor where we want to insert the citation in our text. So I've put it there, and we're going to just have a space there. And now in Word, under EndNote 2025 here, if we click on the tab there, under there, we can go to our EndNote library. All right, so we can select a particular reference we want to install, we want to insert in our text. So I'm just going to use here LTAF as one of my references here. So I highlight it, and I'm going to go back to my Word document, and over on the left-hand side, under Insert Citation, we're going to say Insert Selected Citation. And there it is inserted the citation. You might notice that it's kept the citation in curly brackets here with this funny number and 467. If you get this happening in your Word document, all you need to do is just have a look for instant formatting here. I'm pointing, and my instant formatting is off at the moment, so I just turn instant formatting on, and this should rectify the problem. If you have this problem when you're working with your document, just turn instant formatting off and back on, and often that solves the problem if you've got those curly brackets. All right, so we've inserted it, a citation here in text. We said we wanted to now move on, and we can add, we can modify our citation. But before we do that, I'd like to just show you how to do an example where you're typing and you want to say according to this particular author. So if we've got according to, and now we want to say a particular author, so we're going to put our cursor there. Okay, we're going to go back to our EndNote library, and this time I'm going to make use of Andrews. So I select my my reference that I want to insert, and I come back to my document, and this time instead of saying insert citation, we're going to say insert citation, and we're going to say here on the insert, we're going to use the drop down here, and we're going to choose insert and display as author and the year in the brackets. So that's how we want to do it, because the author forms part of our sentence. So according to my side, we've still got the curly brackets here. Let's just try again. Turn instant formatting off and turn it back on again if you get this problem. All right, so in this case, it's inserted a different reference to the one I thought I had chosen, but never mind, I'm just going to press on according to Chiu 2024, and now you can continue your sentence. It has been found, etc., etc. Okay. I think I did not select my reference correctly in my example, but what I wanted to show you was that we can have the reference as part of our sentence. So we've got the author's name as part of our sentence, and the year of publication in brackets there. All right, let's do one more example where we perhaps insert, we'll use multiple references, and we could also insert a page number if we want to. So let's go, we put our cursor where we want to insert the reference, and we're going to go back to, go to EndNote, and we're going to select, let's say 2 or 3 references this time. We're going to use Andrews and Asim. So, to select multiple references, we're going to just hold the control key down. So we select the first one, and I'm holding the control key in, and select Asim, and let's select Baker. Here we go. Oops, I didn't hold the key in. So let's try again. All right. Asim. And Baker. Okay, so we've got 3 references selected here. All right, and we are going to insert selected citations, and there we go. It has inserted them, and this time it's done it correctly without giving us curly brackets. Our instant formatting is on. All right, and you'll notice in this case, it has given them to us in alphabetical order by the first author here. All right. Okay, if we were wanting to, for example, insert a page number now for, let's say, Baker. So what we could do is, let's just highlight, we want to just highlight one reference. No, I'm going to make it easier. We're going to use Joe. And what we can do is we can right click and we can edit our reference, edit citation, under edit citation, and we go to more, And if we want to add our page number, we can add our page number there on this window. Okay, and we say okay. And there we have inserted the page number in our text, indicating that it was that page according to Jill. All right, what have I left out? So we've inserted our in-text citation. We've started generating our bibliography at the bottom here. Right, and we've inserted a page number. We've inserted a more than one reference, multiple references here. All right, you may be wondering now, oh, this reference list at the bottom that we've generated is doesn't look very easy to read. So let's first of all just give it a heading, bibliography, and what we can do now is format our bibliography so it will be easier to read. Okay, so so we're going to adjust the spacing in the bibliography here. So up here under bibliography, if we go to on the right hand side here, there's a little arrow in the bottom right hand corner of this section which says bibliography, and we click on this option. It's called configure bibliography. So under configure bibliography, we click on the right hand option here, layout, and under layout, if we come down to the bottom where we say space after, and if we change this none here to one of the options we've got here is 1.5 lines. So I'm going to select 1.5 lines, and then once we've selected that, we need to click on OK. So we click on OK, and there it has adjusted our spacing within our bibliography, and this makes it quite a lot easier for us to see our different references and to read them. All right, so that's a useful feature. I also said we could have a look at the font and the font size. So let's just go back there. If I'm remembering correctly, this is also where we can look at our font and our font size. We go to layout, and here under font, the top left hand option there, we can select a different font if we were needing. I'm just going to select Arial for the moment just to show you, and we could adjust our font size. Say we're needing it in font size 11, we can do that, and we can click OK, and there it has adjusted it to the Arial font type, and we've got it in font size 11. All right, so you can adjust that as you need to. I'm just going to take it back again, just so to show you. We're going to change that to, I can't even remember what we were using. Never mind, we'll leave it as Arial for now. And if we needed to change it to font size 10, we can do that again and say OK. And there we've adjusted the font size. All right. Moving on, if we now need to submit our paper to a different journal and we need to change the whole referencing style to meet the style that's used by a particular journal. All right, so what we need to do then is in EndNote, so we're going to go to EndNote, to our EndNote library, and under Tools at the top here, we are going to select Output Styles, and you'll notice here we have this little short list of referencing styles which are currently appearing, and let's say the style that we're needing to use is not appearing here. So we open our Style Manager, and we have a look at a long list of referencing styles that are available. So I'm maximizing this window, and you will see here there's a long list alphabetically of styles which we can choose from. And let's say we're wanting to submit our paper to the journal Cell. So I'm clicking on the letter C. It takes us down to the C's, and we can tick the option for Cell, the journal Cell. And after we've done that, we need to close this window. So close, make use top right-hand corner, close the window. And now that we've done that, we can go back to our EndNote, our Word document, and beg your pardon, wrong document. Okay, and over here, under style, we should be able to see the style for Cell. There it appears. We select Cell here as our style, and it has now changed our text, our document, to the style for Cell, right? It's a numbering style, and there we have our references in that referencing style, and we can submit our paper to that journal. If for some reason we decide our paper's rejected there and we were needing to submit the paper to another journal, or we're needing to submit it as conference proceedings, and we need to change our referencing style, again, we go back to our EndNote library, we go to Tools, and we go to Output Styles. And remember, this just gives us the little short list of referencing styles that we've got ticked. So we open our Style Manager, so we get the long list of referencing styles. We can maximize it, and we can click on the letter of the name of the style we're needing. I'm going to go to N for Nature. So there we have listed here the referencing style for Nature. We can click on that, tick it, and we need to close this window again. Okay, so we close this window, and we go back to our Word document. And here again, under style, we can select the style we're needing this time round, Nature, and we select Nature. It appears there, and our references and our text are now in the style for the journal Nature, and we can submit to the Nature journal. All right, I think I've covered everything that I had on my PowerPoint slide. I'm just going to look at it again. All right, we did cover adjusting the spacing, the font size, selecting a referencing style. All right, are there any questions? I think we've got about 14 minutes left of the session. Are there any questions?
Bronwyn, there's two questions that Kirchner said he will quickly demonstrate. So I think if we can hand maybe over back to Kirchner.
Sure, I will stop.
To address, thanks, Bronwyn.
I will stop sharing. Thank you, Hanley. Thank you for looking after the chat box.
Okay, I just want to demonstrate something as well, that if you do have multiple references like this and you only want to edit one, just how to do that is if you click here on Edit and Manage Citations, this little menu will pop up. And here you can actually also arrange how you want them to appear. So for instance, your supervisor wants them to be chronological and not alphabetical. So here you can change the order of the citations. And then you can select each one individually. So if you only want to add page numbers to this one, then it will appear as such. And let's just see now, where is that one? Why is it not showing the page number? Oh, there it is, yeah. New page 59 is added there then. Okay, so then there was another question, and that was something I had to forgot to cover. but it's how to export your library to Excel. So what you need to do is, if you want to export your entire library, you'll click here, you'll select the first reference, and you can hold in the Control or the Command button and the A button to select all your references. Then you'll go to File, and oh, wait, there's another step that I first need to do. Under the output styles, where we demonstrated the different styles now, you need to enable a specific style. So you'll go to Open Style Manager, and you'll scroll down to Tab Delimited, this one here. So that one must be ticked. Oh, now I accidentally opened it. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can go to Export, and now I'm just trying to see now. I'm just going to save it. I want to save it in my Downloads folder. Ooh, my drive is almost full. I'm just going to save it under Libraries, Documents. No, let's make a desktop. Sorry, I'm just trying to think how it will be easiest to find. Now you can select either a text file or an XML file. The text file works quite well. And then here at the output style, you have to select this Tab Delimited option. And yeah, make sure you say Export Selected References, and you can say Save. And then if you go to Excel, and you go to Data, and you say, click here on From Text / CSV. And there's the file that was just created. You say Import. And then it will give you this little demonstration or indicator of how it would look, the different fields. You'll see at the top, the tab, there isn't any actual titles for to the different tables. So that you'll have to create yourself. But then if we say load, and for some other reason, it's actually treated the very first reference now as the table headings. I'm not sure why it's done that. It might just be because it didn't appropriately read that as an actual reference. But yeah, there are ways around it, but this is how it will essentially be done. Then the other request was on how to add a hanging indent to a referencing style. So if I were to go to APA has a default hanging indent, but let's use SU Harvard in this case. You have to go to the actual editing of the style. So this is where it can sometimes look a bit complicated. And then you click on bibliography or templates. Now I'm just trying to remember as well where this setting was actually placed. Layout. So under bibliography, you click on layout, and there where it says hanging indent, here you can select how you want them to appear. So let's just say all paragraphs, and I'm going to say save. And I'm going to go back to the Word document and just update citations and bibliography. Okay, so now we've got the hanging indent there. Now, if you want to change that hanging indent, how deep it goes, for instance, if you click now on layout and you change it to, for instance, let's make it 0.5, it will then change the indentation. So that setting there won't automatically, that basically just adjusts the indent if the indent setting has been enabled in the style itself. All right, are there any other questions?
Nothing more in the chat. If there's any other questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question.